Hi, I'm Joseph Moreno.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Ring. This is our senior project final presentation. Our topic was the priority task management application. This is our outline for the presentation. We'll start with the initial concept, go to algorithms, what was achieved, show the Trello board, show challenges, what we learned, and then finish off with a demo. Let's start with the initial concept first.
So the initial goal of our project was to create a task management application for Android. Task management, as in things like to-do items or reminders, stuff like that. That allows a user to enter those items, mark them as completed, and then have some metadata on creation for things like priority level parameters and due dates or recurring tasks. We also had plans to try and work on features like task sharing and location reminders. We use Java as the basis of our project because it was something we were a lot more familiar with compared to the other language used for native Android development, which is Kotlin. We also have XML files that are auto-generated by Android Studio, and that we edit if we want to change sort of little bits of the UI and control the layouts of individual screens and stuff within the application. We use Google's Firebase platform as the backend of our application, and some scripts were done with Node.js to take advantage of the Cloud Function feature in Firebase.
As for algorithms, we have a time sort using linked lists. Algorithms we weren't able to implement properly was one that scans for tags. So when you create a task, you're able to enter a tag. It would just scan through your tasks to find any tags related to that. So if you had school, it would look for anything that had school in it. Another one was changing the frequency of pings for location based, because if you just pinged at the same rate, it could eat up data. So we figured that if it could detect, if it did detect when a user was accelerating, it would then increase the frequency of pings to get better location based data. And then when the user slowed down, it would do so with the amount of pings as well.
So what we achieved through this process was to have a core application that writes and edits our database whenever a new user is signed up, as well as adding sort of default items to their account, to their collection in the database, as well as updating a database whenever the user adds any new tasks, uh, updates them, or marks them as completed. And we accomplished the core of the task app that we wanted to. You can see here is our Trello board. The first item on in progress is actually completed. That should not have been there. But we were in progress working on location-based reminders, but we didn't get very far. And we were working on the priority system, which combined regular Android notifications with priority, with items marked as having a higher priority, and then having if they had due dates inside of them, it would have alerted the users. We weren't able to complete that. We also weren't able to complete the ability to share tasks with other users.
As for challenges, we all had to deal with COVID-19, but because we were a group, we had to shift from meeting in person, dealing with any errors we had, working on code, all that sort of stuff. We shifted from that to all digital. And then the other challenge we had to deal with was at one point we were working on a feature uh, that didn't work for some reason. But then the minute we shifted to the newest version of the Android API, it did work. So this taught us a lesson in controlling and choosing a development environment.
What we learned throughout this process was to not get set our goals too highly, as well as understanding the necessary resources for getting through certain features and getting certain things done. This was also a huge lesson in project management and time management for us. So setting a more detailed roadmap ahead of time before we started progress. That way we would have a good idea of what we needed to do first before completing and starting on other parts of the project. Just really having a solid core and then understanding things better. We also had more understanding about development environments because Android Studio and GitHub had a lot of issues when we were doing things, whether it was certain projects just completely disconnecting from the repo and then not working correctly, or um, just issues with merging that we were having and keeping ourselves on sort of the same build of the project.
Now let's transition to our demo. as you can see, here is the application you're greeted to when you first launch it. We don't have a user because we want to create one for this demo. So let me just do
And
that
as
quickly.
Mitchell types in an email address, you'll see in the background that is the web portal for Firebase. So you'll see right now we have 4 accounts that have been set up or created using 4 of our emails. Right now, when Mitchell signs up, he will refresh the browser and you can see the 5th one is added in. I don't know why it doesn't do it automatically. It has to be refreshed. But alongside, you'll also see that every user has a unique user ID, which we use to sort of label their collection in the database. So you'll see right now, the one that Mitchell just created has the starter of capital MSB. Right now, when he reloads this,
There's
you'll see
capital
we have a
MSB.
collection for MSB. So on creation, we have a cloud function that actually creates this sort of path. And the structure for Firebase is every collection has documents, and then documents can have sub-collections, which have their own documents. So here it creates, when a new user is created, the cloud function sets up a collection for them, and then it sets up a path of a document, which has a sub-collection, and then it creates a preliminary first document, first task for the user, which is the one that you see on the screen right now.
So let's create a new task, shall we? Let's go with something topical, such as submit final paper. Notes to do. And then
So you can see you have options for setting the data of the task, as well as setting notes, which may be just extra information about the task, as well as setting a tag, which we had plans to show all the tags for a user, as well as setting the priority level between high and low, which would have worked with the priority notification system, or high and medium.
And then we also have this notify me button, which creates a notification. So you don't have to keep going into the app and looking exactly what you need to do. And then let's save this. And as you can see, that document
So
was
when
just created.
Mitchell taps on, and you can see all the information. You can see it's just automatically added to the database. You see that it has a high level priority, which is task priority 2, as well as the the UID, the unique ID of the account that made the task, which would have been a part of the sharing. You'll see when Mitchell taps on the body of the task, in the application, he has the option to change that, click update, which will update the information in the application and the database, or to delete the task from right there.
So let's just show the update first, shall we? And just set it to normal. We update it, and as you can see, it just
There
updated.
you go. Now, if he clicks it again, he can also just delete it directly from the application. And there you go. So he'll create a new one real quick. And you'll see when he clicks on the checkbox for the welcome to your first task,
Let me bring that back up.
it'll mark it as false in the database. So if he logged in again, that would all be saved in there. But yeah, we did have features in progress, especially for the priority system, which would have allowed putting in a date, which the system would recognize. And when your device recognized the date, sorry, out of breath, it would have given you notifications letting you know that it's coming, and then would have marked it for overdue in the application. But you can also go to the settings for the functions, and you can see those are the cloud functions that we use to start off users whenever they sign into the application for the first time or to the service. And then when Mitchell hits the action bar at the top, the user can sign out. And we are out of our demo. Thank you.